SA, omen, iti, usi. That's for active voice. For the middle and passive voices, we have omay, a, itay, ometa, iste, untay. And for the imperfect tense, we have on, SA, omen, iti, on. For the middle or passive voices, omen, u, itu, ometa, isti, ontu. And don't forget, in imperfect, there is an augment, no? Augment. So the formula for the imperfect tense is we have augment plus verbal stem plus uh, ending. Okay. While for the present, we have the verbal stem plus ending. Okay. So, and also we learned last time of the contraction process. No, contraction. So when a verbal stem ends in vowel in alpha, epsilon, and omicron, it will go contraction. No, contraction. So for example, here we have um, the word timao. No, the word timao. The verb stem here is tima, no? Tima, and tima ends in alpha. So what happens is when alpha is followed by omega, then there is a contraction happens. Okay, so it becomes omega. Okay, then we have also alpha plus diphthong a, the equivalent, it becomes alpha with iota subscript. Okay, so please take note of those contraction process for alpha, epsilon, and omicron. Okay, so as what I told you last time, that uh, this is the regular form, or we are expecting this form here, no, this one here, we are expecting the form. However, when we go to the New Testament, you cannot find this form here. No, we cannot find this form here, but this one. No, these are the forms that will appear in the New Testament. So that's why you might wonder, oh, why is it like this? Oh, this is the process. No, actually, the actual, I mean, the why it becomes like this, the form is like this, because of the process of construction, no? That alpha plus diphthong becomes alpha with iota subscript. Then also we have here alpha plus omicron, or again a diphthong, it's u, then it becomes omega. Now we have the process here, or we have the patterns. So just look at the patterns, okay? So again, you don't need to memorize this one. I just want you to be familiar, or you must know this so that you have, you might not question, or you will not question why a form in the New Testament, or you see a form in the New Testament which you cannot find in our discussion. Okay. Now, okay, so this time, okay, also we're done discussing the imperfect form, right? The imperfect form for active and middle voices. So I think we discussed this last time. For example, here, luo is present active, right? Present active. Then the imperfect active indicative would be iloon. So we have augment plus verbal stem plus ending. So our translation is I was losing. Ilu ace, it's you were losing. Ilu a, he, she, it was losing. Ilu umen, we were losing. Ilu ite, you were losing. And ilu on, they were losing. So again, imperfect is a continuous action in the past. Now, this is the nature of the action of imperfect in the indicative mode. It's a going action, or a progressive action that happens in the past. Okay, so how will you know that this verb is an imperfect? Because of the augment. So when you see an augment, so it's either imperfect or aorist tense. Okay, and we also discuss the so-called
Sir, pangutana,
middle
sir.
and passive indicative, no, forms of imperfect. We have again the passive, the middle, and the passive voices. They have the same endings. Okay, the same endings, but the difference is only the translation. Because when we say middle, the subject is the doer at the same time the recipient of the action. No, that's for middle.
Muli, sir.
And in English, we use that. We use or we give equivalent to that. That is reflexive pronouns using reflexive pronouns. So, for example, we have iluumain. I was losing myself. So you have a reflexive pronoun here. Ilu iluo, we have you were losing yourself. Ilu ito, he, she, it was losing himself, herself, or itself. For the plural, ilu omita, we were losing ourselves. Ilu este, you were losing yourselves. And ilu unto, they were losing themselves. Okay? Uh, now,
Sir, I have question, sir.
oh yes, you have question, Edson. Yes. What is your question?
Um, kanang augment, sir ba? Given ana siya, sir? Or kami pa ang mag-provide ana, sir?
It's given. It's given. No? Given na siya. So when you read the New Testament, okay, when you read the New Testament uh, Greek, it's already given. It's there, no? Not augment. No? So augment will tell you that that verb or that word is in the past or happens in the past. It's either imperfect or aorist. Now we haven't discussed yet aorist tense, but again there are two tenses uh, that that relate to the past. That is imperfect. One is imperfect and the other one is aorist. Okay, so it's already given. Okay, now okay then for the passive again the same endings. No, the same endings. So you look at there the same endings, the same also it has also augment because again it's imperfect. Then there's no difference, no, when it comes to form between the middle and the passive. For imperfect there's no difference, they are identical. However, the only what's this? The difference is only the translation. No translation. Since this is passive, therefore the subject is being acted upon, or the subject is the recipient of the action. For example, here we have ilo omen, we have I was being loosed. No, so you use being. No, being it means it tells or it yeah use the verb to be. Now the verb to be I was being loose to signify that this verb here is in the passive form. Now how will you know if the which one is which voice the verb refers to? Is it middle or passive? It depends upon the context. So now, when you read the New Testament and you have the middle or passive endings, then you can look at the context, and if the context tells you that this is middle voice or should be translated in the middle voice, then you use the reflexive pronoun in English. No? But if you see that this is in the passive voice, according to the context, so you translate that verb in passive form. Okay? Now, let's move to another tense, which is the future. No? Future. So, when we say future, of course, it's an action that will take place in the future. It's not yet happening. Okay? So we have the present, we have the imperfect. Imperfect tense is uh, an action relates in the past, no? While future is an action that will happen in the future. For example, we have here comparison. We have the present and the future. Now, ago, the meaning of ago is I live. Okay, it's I live. Now, in the future, the form of ago changes. No, it becomes axo. Okay, so we have ago. That's in the present. We have axo. Now you will notice. Oh, why is it different? Of course, because we are now dealing another tense, and we have another rules for the future tense. Okay, so we will learn that later. Okay, what are those rules? Okay, so for the meantime, you should familiarize
Ako no.
the the forms of the future tense. So we have ago, I lead, axo,
Akso.
it means I will lead. Akuo, I hear. The future is akusumai, I will hear. Then apostello, I sent out. The future tense is apostello. Now look at here. For the present, it has double lambda, but for the future, to make it to distinguish the future from the present, here apostello has only a single lambda. Okay. Then we have lipo. Okay. It becomes blipso. Okay. Blepo is I see. Blipso is I will see. Ginomai is I become. Ginesomai is I will become. Ginosko is I know. Nosomai is I will know. Doxazo is I glorify or I praise. Um,
Doksao.
Doxaso is I will
Doksaso.
glorify, I praise. We have ame, it's
Imi.
I am.
Am.
The future
Isomai.
form is
Isomai.
isomai, I will
Isomai.
be. Erkomai, I come or I go. The
Ili.
future form is ilusomai, I
Ilusomai.
will come or I will go. Then we have katabaino, I go down.
Katabisomai.
Okay, I go down. For the future, we have
Labisomai.
katabesomai. We
Labisomai.
have I will go down. We have lambano, I take
Lambano.
or receive. Then we have the future form. It's
Lin.
lemsomai is I will
Limsomai.
take or I will receive. Okay. Now we have here. Then we have paralambano. I take along or I receive. Then for the future we have paralemsomai. It's I will take along, I will receive. Then we have peito. It's I persuade. The future form is peso. I will persuade. Then we have prosyukumai. I pray. In the future, it's prosyusumai. I will pray. Then for the present, zuzo. I save. In for the future, it's so. It's I will save. Okay. So please familiarize yourself with the forms of the future tenses. Okay? Next question.
Memorize on gyud na sir no.
No, you don't need to memorize. No, I mean, yes, you have to memorize the meaning or the vocabs. The vocabs. So, it includes. These are the vocabs. No, the vocabs. You have to memorize the vocabs. These are vocabularies. Okay. Then familiarize yourself with what? With the forms, no? The forms. Okay, just familiarize the forms. Why? Because you don't need to memorize the forms here. Just familiarize. Why? Because we will discuss the rules. Why this is the form in the future? Because we already know the present. The important thing here is you must know the present and the meaning. So you just memorize the present form, okay, and the meaning in the present, because future will what will will be, you will know the form of the future if you know the rules. Okay, so you don't need to memorize the future form but familiarize. Okay, familiarize is different from memorization. No, familiarize. So I want you to memorize the present form, at least. Okay, the present form and the meaning. Okay. Now, okay, so I think someone wants to ask question. Ay, pungutan na? Okay, so let's continue. Now, here, we will discuss first the future, okay? The future here is this one, okay? Again, augment, look at augment, it means past, okay? So, since we're done with the, what they call this, the imperfect noun, then this augment here relates to the second tense in the past, or which is the aorist, no? So these are the aorist form, and we have the future, and we have here below its perfect tenses. Okay. Now, if you let's start with the future. Okay, this is future active. No, these are the forms. We have the future middle. These are the forms, and the future passive. Okay. Now, in the future, the middle and the passive forms, or the passive voices, they have different forms. No, unlike in the present and unlike in the imperfect, the middle and the passive voices in future, they have different forms. Okay. Now, however, in the future, it's simple. No, if you memorize the present form endings, then you don't it it is not difficult for you to memorize the future. Why? Because here, look at here in the future, we have the endings is O, ace, a, omen, iti, usi. The same endings with what? With the present active endings. If you memorize the present active endings, then you memorize the endings of the of the future active. No. However, there's only one difference, and what is that? The tense identifier, the sigma here. Okay, the sigma. You have OSA, omen, ATOC, then you just put sigma in between the verbal stem and the ending, then you will have the future tense now. Okay? We have luso, luces, luce, lusumen, lucite, lususi. Okay? So you have here the difference between the present active and the future active is only the sigma. Okay, the sigma tells you that this word is in the future tense active. Okay, so the tense identifier for future active is sigma. Okay, future active uh, what they call this tense identifier is sigma. Now, also in the middle, it's also the tense identifier is sigma, and the endings follows, or the endings of the middle future, or the future middle follows the endings of the present middle. So that's why I told you a while ago that you have to memorize the present uh, uh, forms for active and middle or passive, because they what? They form, or they become the basis of other tenses. So in this case, the future tense based the endings on the present. However, only the tense identifier is added. No, the tense identifier for active future and middle voice future is sigma. Okay, so the same endings we have omai, a, itai, ometa, isti, ontai. Then you have the sigma. Then what? You have the future middle. Okay, so again, we have luso, lusis, luse, lusomen, lucete, lususe. For the middle, we have lusumai, luse, lusetai, lusomita, lusiste, lusontai. Okay? For if we go back to the present is only what? Luo, lues, lue, lusome, luomen, lueti, luusi. Okay? Then luomai, lue, luetai, luomita, lueste, luontai. That's for the present. Future, just put sigma in between the verbal stem and the ending, then you have the future. Okay, you have here the sigma here and also the sigma. Okay, that's for the future active voice and the future middle voice. What about the future passive voice? No, the future passive voice, the tense identifier is TACE. Okay, TACE. We have theta, eta, and sigma. So we still have sigma, but we have also the theta and the eta. Okay, so you add TACE in between the verbal stem and the ending. So you have here lotesomai. That's for the passive first person singular. Okay, future passive first person singular. Lotesomai, lotese, lotesetai, lotesometa, lotesiste, and lotesontai. So you notice here that the endings is still the same, no? The same with what? With the middle voice in the future. And also again, notice here that the endings of the future passive is based on the endings of the present passive endings. Okay? So the only difference is what? Again, we have the tense identifier. So when we say tense identifier, it's the a letter or group of letters used to tell you of the tense. Okay? That's why it is called tense identifier. You are using this letter or group of letters to identify the tense of the verb. Okay, so don't forget the the tense identifier for future is sigma, and sigma for the active and the middle, while for the future is TACE. Okay, TACE. Now, um, I will give you now the other tenses as well, no? Other tenses so that you have a general picture later on when we discuss these other tenses. For the aorist, no? For the aorist, we have again, we have here, look at here, we have augment, no? Augment. Then for the aorist active, the ending or the tense identifier is sa. Okay? Sa, sas,
Sas.
se, samin, sati, son. Okay, it's very simple. Sa, sa, se, samin, sati, san. Then you have the augment. Then the endings is sa, sa, se, samin, sati, san. Simple, no? Then for the middle aorist, we have still the tense identifier is sa. Okay. Then we have sa, asamin, so, sato, samita, saste, santo. Okay. And for the passive is te. Okay? Sa future, it's taste, while sa aorist is only te. Okay? So we have tain, taste, te, tamen, teite, teisan. Okay? So again, you have ilosa, ilosas, ilose, ilosamen, ilosate, ilosan. That's for the active. For the middle, it's we have ilosamen, iluso, ilosato, ilosamita, ilusaste, ilusanto. Okay, for the middle voice. And we have for the passive voice, we have ilutain, ilutes, ilute, ilutamen, ilutate, ilutaisan. Okay? So just memorize the endings. Now to make it simple, just memorize the endings so that it would be a lot easier for you. Okay? Now, Then we have the perfect form. We have the active and the middle or passive form. For the perfect active, the tense identifier is ka. Okay? The aorist is sa, while the perfect is ka. We have ka, kas, ke, kamen, kati, kan. Simple, very similar to the aorist active form. No? Because the aorist it's sa. Sa means sati, san. But of course with the augment. While for the perfect, it's only what? We have the tense
Liloka.
identifier is
Ka.
ka, kas, kaming kati, kan. Of course, we have also the
Liloka.
reduplication process here. Now, we will discuss this later
Liloka.
on, the so-called reduplication of the verbal stem. Okay? Again, just for now,
Liloka.
just memorize the endings. We have kakas,
Loka,
ke, kami, kati,
lokas.
kan for the active
Loke.
perfect. Then we have
Loki.
also here for the middle of passive perfect, we have my, sai, tai, mita, esti, untay, no? So these are the endings. Then we have here the reduplication of the verbal stem. So that's why we have lilumay, lilotusay, lilotay, lilos mita, liloste, liluntay. Okay? So these are all the tenses of the indicative mood. So we have the present, the imperfect, we have the future, we have the aorist, and we have the perfect. Okay? Please take note of those. No? Take note and memorize the tense identifier. Memorize the tense identifier for the future active and middle. We have sigma. For the future passive, we have taste. For the aorist and middle voices, we have sa. For the passive, we have te. Okay. For the perfect, we have ka. And for the active perfect ka. For the middle or passive, we don't have. No, we don't have tense identifier. But we have what we have. It's only the reduplication of the verb stem and the endings. Okay. Now, let's continue. No? So here, let's focus now for the rules for the future active and middle indicative tense. Okay? So the future stem is usually formed by adding sigma to the present verb. Okay? When you memorize the present verb, then just add sigma, then it becomes what? It becomes future in the active or the middle. Then the thematic vowel omicron or epsilon is added and the final ending. So this is now the pattern. We have the present stem or the verbal stem lu, then plus sigma plus omega. It becomes what? Here this is now the form of the future active. So lu plus sigma plus omega luso. It's I will lose. Okay. Now for the verb stems ending in a vowel in this process is fairly simple. The future active of luo is exactly like the present active except for the addition of sigma. Likewise, the future middle of luo is exactly like the present middle except for the addition of sigma. So for the active and the middle future, you add only sigma to the present tense. Okay? Now, for verb stems ending in a consonant, certain change take place when sigma is added to the stem. Okay? So, kung ang verbal stem daw, kung ang stem or ang verb stem ends in a consonant, no? Um, changes happens when the verb stem ends in palatal consonants, labial consonants, and dental consonants. Okay? Remember at the beginning of our class, I already presented this. Now, consonants, which are palatal, labial consonants, and dental. Okay? Palatal consonants are the what? Or the gutturals. We have the kappa, the gamma, and the ki. Okay? We have also the labial. We have the p, the beth, and the phi. Okay? Then the dental, we have the tau, the delta, and the theta. Okay? So, now, verbs ending in a mute consonant experience the following changes. No? So, when you add sigma to a verb stem that ends in guttural or palatal or labial and dental, sigma and these mute consonants will what? Will change. Okay? Now, for the guttural or palatal consonants, when kappa or gamma and ki before sigma, okay, or you add sigma, then kappa, gamma, and ki becomes what? C. Okay, this is now the final form. Okay, kappa plus sigma is equals to C. Gamma plus sigma equals to C, and chi plus sigma equals C. For example, we have ago, no? Ago again, it's what? Present, and the meaning is I lead, right? I lead. Now, look at ago here. We know that omega is the ending for present active first person. So, the verb stem here is ag, no? Ag ends with, or the verb stem ends with gamma. So gamma, then if you make it plural, future tense, no? Since this is present, if you change this to future, then the form becomes what? If you add sigma here, remember that the tense identifier for future is sigma. So you have here gamma plus sigma becomes what? Becomes
Igo.
axo.
Akso na
Okay?
yun.
Becomes
Akso.
axo.
Akso na yun.
Another thing is we have labial consonants. We have here, we have P, B, and phi. Before sigma, or if you add sigma, then it becomes C or psi. Okay? For example, we have blepo. Blepo is in the present. Okay, present tense, meaning I see or I look at. When you change this to the future, then if you add, no, if you add sigma here, okay, maybe I will show you, no, I will show you. Hold on, hold on.
Sir, unsa na ning lesson natong gi-discuss, sir?
Ha?
Unsa na gani ning lesson natong gi-discuss? Nawala magpugo gani hagod internet.
12,
This is
12.
about future, no, future. Future. Okay, let me, ay isa ha.
Ikaw service bro.
Ako sa nang i-quan stop kay dili makuha na kong video, okay?
Quick.
So, let me show you it again, okay? Makita,
Yes sir, makita na sir.
makita na, no? Ato ning i-quan, okay. Let me give you, okay. Para, okay. So, here, no? Makita ninyo? Okay ra?
Yes sir, yes sir.
Okay.
Taas lang gamay, sir. Taas lang gamay.
Taas na gamay, ano eh. So, ago, no? Ago, mo man gina siya ang present, no? So, what would be the form of ago if it's in the future tense? No, if it's in the future tense. So, we expect that, remember, the active, the tense identifier in the future active is sigma, no? Sigma. Okay. So, supposed to be, ago, supposed to be it's like this, no? We're expecting that this should be the form, okay? Because this is the tense identifier. However, we are this is not what will appear. Why? Because in Greek we have the gamma here. The rule says that if the palatal or guttural consonants, we have the kappa, gamma, and ki is before sigma, then these two will what? Something like will merge and it becomes what? C. Okay, that's why it becomes what? Axo. This is now the form because gamma and sigma is equals to C. It becomes axo. Okay?
So,
Oh, the same also with what? With kappa and ki, no? We have here, we will look at here, no? What other example that we can give here? Um, do we have other example here? I think, here, no? Here, the word proshukumai, okay? Proshukumai, no? So, the word proshukumai, okay? So, for example, we have proshukumai, okay? So, proshukumai is in the present, no? Meaning I pray. Now, so what would be the form of proshokumai if you if it is in the future active? Remember, we have here is what? He and omai is the ending. Now, so again, the rule is the tense identifier in future active is sigma, no? So you must what? You add sigma in between the verb stem and the ending. So this is the ending, then therefore this is the verb stem. So supposed to be we should be looking like this, no? Supposed to be mo mo gyud ang unta ni. Kay mo man ni ang what tense identifier sa future because you put the tense identifier in between the verb stem and the ending. So this is the ending and this is the verb stem. However, in Greek again, so according to the rule that when sigma or when guttural is before sigma, so we have here sigma and we have a guttural here, then these two what? Combine or combine, it becomes what? It becomes C. Okay? So the future form now of Fushukumai, it's not this form, but this one. Okay? Because you combine, you have proshukumai. Okay? Sorry. So that's why we have this form. Okay? We have this form instead of this form because we have the key and the sigma placed side by side. Okay? Now, the second rule, no? Okay, the
Sir,
second rule. Yes, question?
i-screenshot sana ko, sir, unsa.
Okay. Oh.
Sir, unsa gid tong first rule sir? Naling akong ano sir kay summarize lang sir kay akong isulat sir first
Oh,
rule.
di nala ni sa tanawa ang kanang akong gi-share karon na PDF. Tamo ni ang rule, no? So, ipalatal or guttural, what are those palatal consonants? We have the kappa, the gamma, and the key before sigma. It becomes what? C. Okay? You have to take note of this because also this rule applies in orist. Remember orist, the tense identifier is sa. No, it starts with sigma. Okay? So the same rule applies. No? So when you memorize this one or when you are familiar with these rules, then it's very simple for you to recognize also the forms of the aorist tense because of this rule also. This rule applies in aorist tense. Okay?
So kanang
Okay.
na ano sir mo na rule sir.
Oh, kini mo ni,
Kanang
no?
na
Oh,
okay sir, okay.
muna na yung i-familiarize, no? Okay.
Excuse me.
You don't need to memorize, just familiarize. Why? Because of course, the forms are already given. No? The future tense, the future. This is only to address the question, oh, why is it the form is like this? No? Why is it the form in the future is like this? We are only giving the background or the reason why this is the form in the future or why this is the form in the always tense. Okay? It's only the background or the answer to that question. Now, the second rule is the labial, no? The labial. We have the labial, it's P, we have the beta, and we have the phi, okay? We have the phi. Now, so if we have P, beta, and phi followed by sigma, okay? So we say followed by sigma or plus sigma, it becomes what? So you have C, okay? You have C, okay? Example, you have blipo, blipo. Okay, this is the present form, and we are expecting since uh, the ending here is omega, and again, the rule is you put the tense identifier in between the verb stem and the ending. So we are expecting that there must be, if you make this in the future, then this is the form supposed to be, you know, blip so, no? This is the form supposed to be because we have what? We have sigma. We put sigma in between the verb stem and the ending. So this is the verb stem and we have the ending. So we put the sigma for the future. However, again, the rule says that when P and what? Sigma side by side or place side by side, then what? It becomes C, okay, or C. So the actual form now in the future is blip what? Blip so, okay? Blip so. This is now the actual form, okay? This is the form that we can see, not this one, okay? Because of the rule, when they are placed side by side, okay, P and sigma become C, up C. Okay, the same rule applies in beta and phi. Okay, the same rules apply for beta and phi. And lastly, we have the dental. No, the dental. What are the dental consonants? We have we have the tau, we have the delta, and we have the theta. Plus sigma, okay, plus sigma, or they are placed side by side, it becomes what? Okay? You have uh, what it says here that the delta, the tau, and the theta before sigma drops out, no? Drops out. So what is retained is what? Sigma. Because these three here drops out, no? Wala, tanggalon, i-remove. Now, for example, we have the word uh, pito, no? Pito. So we have here pito. Okay? So, again, what is the verb stem here? The verb stem here is pay, no? Pay. This is the verb stem because this is the ending. This is the ending. So supposedly you will what? You write sigma here because we're talking here of future tense. However, the rule says if sigma is preceded by tau, delta, and theta, then these three dropped off. So it means dropped off, mawala. Cancelin mo. So what is left is what? Pay so. So it becomes what? Pay so. Malaya ang young form is pay so. Okay? Because the tau is or the theta is dropped off. Okay? So unlike the two preceding rules, there is a so-called contraction or combination. Okay? Contraction. They are na-combine. Okay? However, for this one, the third rule is drops off. No, you have to be familiar with this because it applies also to our tense. Now, another thing is that verb stems ending in sibilance. No, drop the sibilant in the stem before the sigma for the future. No, so another rule, the next one is sibilants. What are those words? No, sibilants or consonants. Now we have
Sigma.
S sounds, sigma and what? We have
C.
also C and we have also zeta. No? Zeta. Now, for example, we have here so, zo, no? Zo, zeta is a sibilant. Okay? So, again, this is what? This is the verb stem. We have the ending. So, supposed to be the form of future is what? This is supposed to be the future because we have the verb stem, we have the ending, and we have the tense identifier of future. However, the rule is what? When the sibilant, no, a sibilant consonant is followed by sigma, the sibilant consonant is dropped off. And what we have is what? We have so, so. Okay? So, so. So, yan na lang, no? So, some future stems, no? Letter C, no? Read letter C. Some future stems are entirely different from the present stems, no? Of course, these rules applies only when, what? When the present form is similar to the future form, no? However, what if the form of the present is not the same as in the future? Okay, so it says here that some future stems are entirely different from present stems. In such cases, the original verb stem and the present stem are not the same. For example, the original verb stem of ginosco is what? No, ginos. But the no, nas, thus the future stem is what? Nos. Okay, so the original stem of uh, Keruso is Kerok, no? Thus, the future stem is Kerox. So, the original stem of baptizo is baptid. Thus, the future stem is baptiz. So, you should not assume that the future stem is built on the present form given in the vocabulary. No? So, take note of that. The only safe way to determine the form of the future is to consult the list at the back of the book. No, the second form in the principal list will always be the future active indicative first person singular. By the way, did I send to you? Did I send to you the list of vocabularies? No. Aside from the vocabularies in the lessons, actually I have a list also of the vocabularies, and also I have there the list of the forms of a verb in all tenses, no, in all tenses. Nakahatag ba ko ano ninyo or naa sa canvas?
Katong 22 pages, sir. Mo to?
Yes, itong 22 pages, yes. Na hatag na ko, no?
O na.
So can you check, no? Can you check?
Murag wala na kuan sir, wa ko ka unsa. Pwede i-send mo sir.
Isend ko balik, no? Isend ko balik. Nasa ubos, no? Nasa ubos, pinaka-ubos tanan nga mga forms sa verb in all tenses. No, nasa ubos na. Okay? Anyway,
itong na ano sir, kanang katamat yun.
dili man to, Bible man to, New Testament man to. Ako to i-send balik karon. Okay?
Okay, sir. Send pa lang sir.
Send na lang na ako, no? So,
Sir.
Sir, again,
so, ha? Okay. Let's continue, no? We still have, how many minutes? Napatay. Uy,
9.
wala, mali ay, no? Mali time, no? So, okay, we will just continue our discussion next week, no? Next week. Okay, kay wala naman tayo igong time di ay. Okay, do you have questions?
Sir.
Questions?
Send ni sa Gmail nga record, sir.
Oh, i-send na ako, no? Okay, so kung wala na, so kung wala question, so thank you so much, no? We will continue our discussion next